minute for your opening statement. Robin here on the front row has some cue cards for you. She'll ring the bell when your time is up.
Thank you all. I'm Mark Davis. I'm also running as a candidate for Hardin County Sheriff. You know, from the experience standpoint, I come to you with 29 years of law enforcement experience. I'll hit a 30th anniversary this coming July. I'm currently serving as the chief here in Silsbee for the police department. And I've been fortunate to work through my career through local, city, county agencies, for small-time real estate agencies. You know, I bring to the table some experience with personal values. I'm a Christian. I consider myself a conservative Republican. What I'm bringing to the table for a sheriff's election candidate is agency head experience, wisdom, some training, and some hands-on dealing with the trials that come with running an agency. Folks, this is not a law enforcement job for. This is not a law enforcement job for an officer or a deputy. What we're choosing is an agency leader with experience. So.
And you'll have a minute and a half for your answers for each of these questions. Please describe your management style and give us an example of how you have managed people.
Management style, I would say, would be somewhat permissive, trying to allow decisions to be made at the lowest possible level, to encourage your subordinates to take an active role in making decisions, to involve them in the process, to empower them to lead by example. And as far as an example of that, of something that's very, very small and insignificant but went a long ways. For those of you who live in Silsbee, we changed the graphic decals on our police cars here a couple of years ago. And a big team build morale booster was to take the officers and let them decide the graphics on that police car. It was very insignificant, and quite frankly, as an agency chief, I didn't care. But it was a big deal to the guys that worked there. And it let them buy into some ownership. And so they came up with some ideas, and we looked at that, picked the one that we thought best fit our department. And so they had something they could wrap their hands around, you know, and take ownership. I could have dictated what was going to be on there, but that small, insignificant decision by them was a big boost.
Okay. The Supreme Court decision of Brady versus Maryland, sometimes referred to as the Brady Law, ruled that withholding evidence violates a person's rights of due process. How do you incorporate this in your professional ethics?
Brady v. Maryland came about with prosecutors that were withholding evidence that could have been used in the guilt or innocence of somebody, exculpatory evidence, if you would. And so, as an agency chief, what you're looking at is making sure that you're setting an example. You're training your staff, quite frankly, you're training your investigators that when they're building a case, all information that they uncover, all information that they receive, whether they think it's significant or not, must be turned over to a prosecutor, who in turn has the duty to make that evidence available to the defense. And so, again, to clarify, what you've really got to do is you've got to set the standard, and you've got to make sure that you've met with your employees, that you've made your intentions known, that you start to explain to them what the law is, first of all, that they have a duty to turn over that evidence no matter what they think of it, and that you're able to set the example of, here's what we expect, here's the level of professionalism, and that evidence must be divulged if you've uncovered it during your investigation.
Thank you. This is a two-part question. Have you ever had to make a difficult stand that had personal consequences? And also, have you ever had any ethics violations that would jeopardize your credibility as sheriff?
Yeah, I mean, you make ethical decisions, or at least I would hope you would make ethical decisions every day in your life. You know, ethics is about doing the right thing, even when nobody else would know, even when nobody else would see. That's what someone who has good ethics is a person who makes ethical ethical decisions. I think we make ethical decisions every day in our life, and from a law enforcement standpoint, again, you're going to lead by example, and as it pertains to our election, as for an agency chief, you're setting the tone. You're going to walk in there, and the folks that work for you, they're going to realize, you're going to instruct them what you expect, what you demand, and so you're going to lead by example from an ethical standpoint. But I think even furthermore than that is you're going to have to be able to hold a firm hand, because you're going to have cases where you have an employee who operates outside the bounds of ethics or morals or policy, and so you're going to have to be firm and fair, but you're going to have to be transparent. The citizens demand that when you have an officer or employee accused of wrongdoing. They're going to have to know and trust that you're going to handle that situation in a legal manner, but also in a fair manner. As a voter, you deserve that, and I think as an agency head, we've got to ensure that you trust us to get that done.
What specifically do you believe needs to change about the way the Sheriff's Department operates, and that could include technology? And also, please briefly discuss the important relationship between the Sheriff's Office and the DA's office.
From a technology standpoint, I've actually been quite fortunate. I worked under Sheriff Kane from 2005 until 2011, and a big portion of what I did was supervision